Let her die. Save my son.
Have you ever imagined waking up in a hospital, unable to move, unable to speak, while listening to your own mother calmly tell a doctor to let you die? Most people fear strangers. They worry about criminals, accidents, or bad luck. I used to think the same. I believed that no matter how difficult life became, family would always be the one place where love existed without conditions. I couldn't have been more wrong, because the people I trusted with my life didn't just betray me. They planned to erase me forever. What they didn't know was that I could still hear every single word they said. And before that terrible night was over, a woman I had never met would walk into my hospital room and reveal a secret that had been buried for 28 years, a secret powerful enough to destroy everything my so-called family had built. My name is Eliza Hartwell. I'm 28 years old, and this is the story of how I died in my parents' hearts long before I almost died in that hospital bed. The first thing I became aware of wasn't pain. It wasn't darkness either. It was my mother's voice. "Take care of Cole first," she said with complete confidence. "He has his whole future ahead of him. Eliza has always complicated everything." Her words floated through the haze surrounding my mind like cold knives cutting through fog. I tried opening my eyes. Nothing happened. I tried lifting my hand. Nothing. My entire body felt impossibly heavy, as though someone had buried me beneath wet concrete. Every breath came from a machine forcing air into my lungs, while distant beeping echoed somewhere around me. For several terrifying seconds, I honestly believed I was already dead. Then I realized something much worse. I was alive, completely conscious, but trapped inside my own body. Panic exploded inside my mind. "Move, please, just one finger, one eyelid, anything." Nothing responded. The ventilator continued breathing for me while voices drifted around the room. "If my son needs anything," my mother continued calmly, "any compatible donation, use whatever is medically necessary from her. She would want him to survive." Every word stabbed deeper than the injuries covering my body. No, I wouldn't." I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell every doctor in that room that she was lying. Instead, I remained perfectly still. My father spoke next. Victor Hartwell always sounded polished. Even during business meetings, he never raised his voice. He didn't need to. Wealth gave him confidence. "Doctor," he said smoothly, "our family has supported this hospital for many years. We've donated millions." He paused. "I'm requesting a do not resuscitate order for my daughter." Everything inside me froze. "Her injuries are catastrophic. We don't want her suffering unnecessarily." "A liar. You don't want me talking." The realization hit me harder than the crash itself. They already knew exactly what Cole had done. And now they intended to finish what he started. The trauma surgeon remained silent for a moment before answering carefully. "Mr. Hartwell, your daughter still has strong vital signs. She remains a viable patient. We cannot simply withdraw treatment because another family member has more severe injuries." My father sighed impatiently. "I don't believe you're understanding the situation." His voice became colder. "There are financial and legal complications." Complications. That was his favorite word. He never called betrayal. He called it restructuring. He never called fraud. He called it aggressive investment. And apparently, he didn't call murder. He called it avoiding complications. The doctor refused again. "We treat patients according to medical ethics." A long silence followed. Then my father quietly said something that chilled me more than anything else. "I believe you'll reconsider after thinking about our future donations." Even half conscious, I recognized exactly what he was doing. He was trying to buy my death. If anyone had told me just 24 hours earlier that my parents would attempt something like this, I would have laughed. Not because they loved me, but because I believed there was still a line they would never cross. I was wrong. Looking back now, maybe they crossed that line years ago. I simply refused to see it. Growing up, everything revolved around my older brother Cole. When Cole won a soccer game, the entire family celebrated. When I graduated at the top of my accounting class, Dad simply nodded. Good. That single word was the only congratulations I ever received. When Cole totaled his first sports car, Dad bought him another one. When I accidentally scratched Mom's luxury SUV, I spent 6 months paying for the repairs. Whenever relatives visited, they praised Cole's confidence. They praised his charisma, his leadership, his bright future. As for me, I was always introduced as our practical daughter, the responsible one, the dependable one, the one who solved problems, the one who quietly cleaned up everyone else's mess. Back then I convinced myself that was enough. Someone had to be responsible. Someone had to protect the family. I didn't realize I wasn't protecting a family. I was protecting people who had never truly considered me part of it. to after college, I joined Apex Compliance, one of Seattle's most respected forensic accounting firms. I loved my work. Numbers never lied. People did. Forensic accounting wasn't glamorous. Most days involved spreadsheets, bank records, tax filings, corporate audits, but buried inside those numbers were stories. Stories of greed, stories of deception, stories criminals desperately hoped nobody would discover, and I was very good at finding them. Within 5 years, I had become one of the firm's youngest senior investigators. Ironically, the skills that built my career would eventually expose my own family. It began 3 months before the accident. Cole invited me to dinner. He looked unusually nervous. "I've started my own investment company," he announced proudly. Mom practically applauded. Dad smiled wider than I'd seen in years. "I want you to look over some paperwork," Cole said. "Just a professional opinion." I agreed without hesitation. Why wouldn't I? He was my brother. At least, that's what I believed then. The first week revealed nothing unusual. The second week, tiny inconsistencies appeared. Wire transfers didn't match reported income. Several investors existed only on paper. Profits appeared without supporting transactions. By the third week, my stomach turned every time I opened another file. Someone had created dozens of shell companies, fake investment portfolios, forged signatures, hidden offshore accounts. Millions of dollars were moving through invisible businesses. It wasn't bad bookkeeping, it was organized fraud. The deeper I investigated, the worse everything became. Then I found my own name. At first, I assumed it was an error. Surely there couldn't be another Eliza Hartwell connected to these records. There wasn't. My social security number, my digital signature, my personal information. Every document identified me as the primary financial guarantor. I stared at the computer screen for almost 5 full minutes. I had never signed any of those papers. Not one. Someone had stolen my identity. Someone incredibly close to me. The final document confirmed everything. Authorization approved by Eliza Hartwell. Signature verified. Date submitted. I remembered exactly where I had been that day. Working late. My laptop beside me. Completely unaware that someone was destroying my future. My hands began shaking. Then another realization struck me. Only one person had unrestricted access to my digital credentials. Cole. I confronted him the following evening. Instead of denying it, he laughed nervously. "It's temporary. Temporary. You forged my identity. I was protecting everyone." "No," I answered quietly. "You were protecting yourself." His smile disappeared. "You don't understand how investment firms work." "I understand federal fraud." His face turned pale. "You've committed multiple felonies." He looked toward the hallway before lowering his voice. "Mom and Dad know." Those 4 words shattered something inside me. They what? They agreed this was the safest solution. My knees almost gave out beneath me. They knew. Cole nodded. "When everything settles down, Dad will hire the best lawyers. For me." He actually looked confused. "Numb for you." I stared at him. "I'll probably get probation. You'll take responsibility." My heart stopped. "You expect me to go to prison for crimes you committed? It won't be forever." He actually sounded annoyed. "You've always been stronger than me." At that moment, I finally understood my place in this family. Not daughter, not sister, sacrifice. The convenient one, the disposable one, the person expected to lose everything, so everyone else could keep smiling. That night I made the hardest decision of my life. I copied every file, every transaction, every fake company, every forged document, every hidden account. On Monday morning, I planned to deliver everything to federal investigators. I didn't know Cole had already decided Monday would never come for me. That decision led us onto a rain-soaked highway and changed my life forever. The nightmare had only just begun. Rain has a strange way of hiding the truth. It blurs headlights, erases tire marks, and gives people the perfect excuse to call murder an accident. Looking back now, I don't think Cole chose that storm by coincidence. I think he had been waiting for the perfect opportunity. And that night, Mother Nature became his accomplice. The annual Hartwell Foundation Gala ended just after 9 o'clock. Seattle's skyline shimmered beneath sheets of heavy rain while wealthy guests laughed beneath covered entrances, waiting for their luxury cars. Inside the ballroom, everything looked perfect. My father had spent the evening shaking hands with politicians. My mother smiled for photographers as though kindness came naturally to her. Cole charmed investors with expensive whiskey in one hand and promises of impossible profits in the other. Only I knew the truth hiding behind every smile. Every handshake, every congratulations, every business card exchange that evening represented another person who would eventually lose everything because of Cole's fraud. I carried a flash drive inside my purse. It contained every piece of evidence, every forged signature, every fake account, every illegal transfer. Tomorrow morning, it would be delivered to federal investigators. I wasn't afraid anymore. I was simply exhausted. For years I had protected my family. Tonight, I was finally choosing myself. As guests began leaving, I walked toward the valet stand. "I'll drive," I told Cole after the attendant handed me my keys. He smiled. "No," I said, "I'll drive." "You've been drinking." "I had one glass of wine over 4 hours." "So did I." He casually reached into my hand and took the keys before I could react. "I've got this." Something about his eyes made me hesitate. Normally Cole looked confident, cocky. Tonight, he looked desperate. His smile never reached his eyes. Dark circles surrounded them as though he hadn't slept for days. His phone vibrated constantly inside his jacket pocket. Every few minutes he glanced down at it. Someone kept messaging him, someone who clearly terrified him. "We should call a driver," I suggested. "It's raining too hard." "No." His answer came too quickly. "We're taking your car." Before I could argue, he unlocked the doors remotely. Something inside me whispered that I shouldn't get in. I wish I had listened. The rain hammered against the windshield so violently the wipers could barely keep up. Traffic moved slowly along Interstate 4 and 5. Red brake lights stretched for miles ahead like glowing rivers through the darkness. For nearly 10 minutes, neither of us spoke. Only the sound of rain filled the silence. Then Cole suddenly laughed. It wasn't happiness. It sounded like panic disguised as confidence. "You know," he said quietly, "this could all disappear." I kept staring through the windshield. What could? "The investigation." "I never told you there was an investigation." "You didn't have to." Another silence settled between us. "I know you've been looking through my records." "You asked me to." "I didn't expect you to keep digging." "I found the truth." His hands tightened around the steering wheel. "Paperwork. I found fraud." He shook his head. "No. I found millions of dollars stolen from innocent people." "You don't understand investment banking." "I understand prison." For several seconds he said nothing. Then, "You have to help me." I slowly turned toward him. "What? You have access to emergency funds?" "No, Ko, you've got retirement savings. You could refinance your condo." "No." His breathing became faster. "I need $800,000. I almost laughed, not because it was funny, because the number sounded insane. "You've lost your mind." "No." He slammed one hand against the steering wheel. "I'm trying to stay alive." What his words froze me. "What does that mean?" "The investors." His voice cracked. "They're not ordinary clients." I remained silent. "They'll kill me." "So call the FBI." "I can't." "Why not?" "Because they'll discover everything." I looked at him, really looked at him. For the first time in my life, I saw fear, real fear. Not fear of prison, not fear of embarrassment, fear of dying. "They're giving me 48 hours. He swallowed hard. "If I don't replace the missing money, they'll kill you." He nodded. Then he looked directly at me. "So save me." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You expect me to pay $800,000 for your crimes. I'll pay you back." "With what?" "My next investment." I actually laughed. "There won't be another investment." "There has to be." "There won't." His breathing became louder. "I already copied everything." His face turned white. "What?" "The SC receives every document Monday morning." The car drifted slightly across its lane. He corrected it without taking his eyes off me. "You wouldn't." "I already have." "You'll destroy all of us." "No," I answered quietly. "I'll stop you from destroying anyone else." For almost a minute, neither of us spoke. Rain pounded harder. Thunder rolled above the highway. Then Cole whispered something I'll never forget. "You really hate me." I shook my head. "No. I hate what you've become." He laughed again. Only this time, there was something frightening in it. "You know what Mom said?" I didn't answer. "She said you'd never turn against family." My chest tightened. "She was wrong." "No." He smiled strangely. "She just underestimated how stubborn you are." Then he said the sentence that still echoes inside my nightmares. "If I lose everything, I'm taking you with me." I slowly reached inside my purse. "If I could call 911, record this conversation, anything." He noticed immediately. "What are you doing?" "Nothing." "Give me the phone." "No." I said. His voice exploded. "Gee, I bite to mama." He reached across the center console. I pulled away. The car swerved. Horn after horn screamed around us. "Give it here!" He grabbed my wrist. I held tighter. The phone slipped from my fingers and landed near my feet. For one brief second, he looked down, then back at me. Then, he smiled. A smile so cold, I barely recognized my own brother. "You forced this." Before I could understand what he meant, he grabbed the steering wheel with both hands and violently jerked it toward my side of the highway. Everything happened in seconds. The tires lost traction. Water exploded beneath us. The car spun sideways across 3 lanes. Headlights rushed toward us through the rain. Somebody screamed. I realized the scream was mine. Then I saw it. A massive delivery truck. its headlights filled the windshield. Time slowed. Instead of braking, Cole pressed the accelerator. My heart stopped. No. At the very last moment, he leaned his body toward the driver's side, bracing himself against the airbag, leaving me completely exposed. He knew exactly where the truck would strike. My side, not his. The impact sounded like the end of the world. Metal screamed. Glass exploded like thousands of knives. Something crushed my ribs. My head slammed sideways. The dashboard folded inward. Pain unlike anything I'd ever imagined ripped through my body. Then, silence. I don't know how long I remained unconscious. Minutes, maybe longer. The first thing I heard wasn't sirens. It was Cole, barely injured.
Still alive. Oh my God, he shouted it was an accident.
It happened so fast. Somebody pulled open his door. Sir, can you walk? Yes. His voice shook perfectly. I think my sister. He paused dramatically. I think she's dying. Haliar. Even then, he was performing, playing the grieving brother. I wanted to speak, to tell the paramedics the truth, but darkness swallowed me again. To the next time I became aware. I was already inside Harbor Crest Medical Center. Machines surrounded me. Doctors rushed around my bed. Voices blurred together. Someone shouted for blood. Someone ordered emergency surgery. Somewhere nearby, another trauma team worked on Cole. And only a few feet away, my parents arrived, not to save me, not to comfort me, not even to ask whether I was alive. They came to make sure I never woke up. As my father quietly tried to convince doctors to sign away my life, I realized something terrifying. If I couldn't find a way to tell someone the truth, I wouldn't survive the night. But deep inside, I refused to give up. If I still had one working muscle, one tiny movement, one chance, I was going to fight, even if all I could move was a single finger. And that tiny movement would soon change everything. Fighting for your life isn't always dramatic. Sometimes, it comes down to one tiny movement. One finger, one silent message, and one stranger willing to believe you. That night, while everyone around my hospital bed believed I was unconscious, I refused to surrender. The voices around me faded in and out. Doctors discussed blood pressure. Nurses checked medications. Machines continued their endless rhythm beside my bed. But through all the noise, I could still hear my parents. My mother sounded impatient. How much longer will this take? The surgeon answered professionally. She's stable for the moment. For the moment, my father repeated. You said her injuries were severe. They are. But she's responding better than expected. I felt my mother's footsteps approaching. I want to see her. Every instinct inside me screamed, don't let her come closer. I couldn't explain why. I simply knew, if my parents believed I might survive, they would find another way to silence me. Someone gently lifted my left hand. The touch was careful, professional, kind. Unlike everyone else in that room, this person wasn't treating me like a problem. She was treating me like a patient. A human being. A nurse quietly checked my pulse. I concentrated with everything I had. Move, please just move. Every nerve in my body burned. It felt like trying to lift an entire building using a single strand of thread. Nothing happened. I tried again. Come on, one finger. That's all I need. Slowly, almost painfully, my index finger twitched, barely, so slightly that I wasn't even sure it had happened. The nurse froze. Her hand tightened gently around mine. Had she noticed? Or was I imagining it? I gathered every remaining ounce of strength. Once, twice, 3 times. 3 tiny taps against her palm. That simple signal wasn't random. Years earlier, during high-risk forensic investigations, our firm had trained employees to use discreet emergency signals whenever speaking openly wasn't safe. 3 taps meant only one thing. I'm conscious. I'm in danger. Document everything. For several endless seconds, nothing happened. Then the nurse leaned closer. Her voice became almost impossible to hear. I understand. Those 2 words nearly made me cry. I've got you, Hope. For the first time since waking inside my broken body, I felt hope. My eyelids opened just enough to see a blurry shape beside me. Her name badge slowly came into focus. Monica Reed. I'll never forget that name. Because while everyone else believed money controlled everything, Monica believed something more important. The truth. What are you doing? My mother's sharp voice sliced through the room. I heard her expensive heels clicking across the hospital floor. Is she waking up? Monica never hesitated. Her airway needs adjustment. Her voice remained perfectly calm. I need more space. I want to see my daughter. I'm sorry, Mrs. Hartwell. Monica stepped between us. I need you behind the safety line. My father immediately joined in. I have legal authority. I understand. The hospital policy applies to everyone. Even from my hospital bed, I could hear the irritation growing in his voice. I said, move. I'm afraid I can't do that. Silence. Dangerous silence. Then very quietly, I heard a soft click beneath my bed. At first I didn't understand. Then Monica casually adjusted my blanket. hidden beneath the rail. She had pressed the emergency panic button. She wasn't just protecting me. She was calling for help. What did you just do? My mother's voice trembled. I've requested additional medical support. You called security. I requested assistance. You had no right. I have every right to protect my patient. My father lost his temper. For someone working in this hospital. His voice dropped dangerously low. You're making a career-ending mistake. Monica answered without fear. My career isn't more important than someone's life. I wanted to smile. Even though every movement hurt. Someone believed me. Someone saw through their lies. Someone was finally standing between me and the people who wanted me dead. As we waited. My mind drifted backward, back to the weeks before the crash. Looking back now, the warning signs had always been there. I simply ignored them. After discovering Cole's fraud, I secretly began copying every financial record, every fake investment, every hidden account, every forged signature. I worked late every night, never using my office computer, never using company Wi-Fi. Everything remained offline, encrypted, hidden. If anything happened to me, the files would automatically reach federal investigators. I created multiple backups, one hidden inside a secure cloud server, another inside a safety deposit box, and one more, hidden somewhere nobody in my family would ever think to search. Inside an old childhood photo album, every picture looked ordinary. Family vacations, birthday parties, school graduations. Behind one photograph, a tiny encrypted memory card waited patiently. Insurance, if I disappeared, so would my family's secrets. I never imagined those backups would soon become the only reason I stayed alive. 3 days before the accident, my father invited me to lunch. That alone surprised me. He almost never asked to spend time alone with me. We met inside one of Seattle's most expensive restaurants. Everything felt strangely formal. After ordering, he smiled politely. I hear business is going well. It is. I'm proud of you. Those 4 words shocked me. He had almost never said them, not once in years. For a brief moment, the little girl inside me wanted to believe him. Then he placed a folder across the table. I'd like you to sign something. I opened it. Power of attorney. Granting temporary financial authority to Cole. My heart immediately sank. No. His smile disappeared. It would help the family. It protects everyone. No. His eyes hardened. You've become selfish. I stared directly at him. No, I've simply stopped being useful. And neither of us spoke. Finally, he leaned closer. Blood should always come first. I answered quietly. Funny? I thought honesty came first. I stood up and walked away. That was the last conversation we ever had before the crash. Now, lying helplessly inside intensive care, I realized something terrifying. That lunch hadn't been a favor. It had been one final attempt to trap me. When I refused, they changed their plan. Hospital footsteps echoed through the hallway, fast, purposeful, heavy. Security had arrived. The ICU doors swung open. Hospital security, someone announced loudly. Everyone step away from the patient. Relief flooded through me. Finally, someone with authority. But before anyone else could speak, a calm woman's voice interrupted. Save your excuses, Victor. The room instantly became silent. Even my parents stopped talking. I couldn't see clearly, only blurred shapes beyond the bright lights. But I heard something unusual. Fear. Real fear, inside my father's voice. Who are you? He asked. The woman answered calmly. My name is Vivian Calder. Even through my medication, the name sounded familiar. Seattle, hospitals, medical research. Then I remembered. Calder Medical Group, one of the largest healthcare organizations on the West Coast. What was someone like her doing here, standing beside my hospital bed? And why did my parents suddenly sound terrified? I had no idea, but deep inside, I felt something changing. The balance of power inside that room had shifted. For the first time, my parents were no longer in control. They just didn't realize. Their entire world was about to collapse. There are moments in life when everything you believed about yourself disappears in a single sentence. For me, that sentence came from a woman I had never met. And before she finished speaking, the family I had known for 28 years no longer existed. The hospital room became unnaturally quiet. No one moved. No one even seemed to breathe. The woman standing beside my bed looked completely calm, despite the chaos surrounding her. She wore a dark tailored suit beneath a rain-soaked trench coat. Silver streaks ran through her neatly tied hair, and although she appeared to be in her late 50s, there was an unmistakable strength in the way she carried herself. She didn't need to raise her voice. Everyone listened. My name is Vivian Calder, she repeated. I am the chairwoman of Calder Medical Group. Even through my blurred vision, I watched the confidence drain from my father's face. Victor Hartwell, the man who spent his life intimidating board members, politicians, and business rivals, suddenly looked like someone who had walked into a courtroom, Knowing the verdict had already been decided, he forced an awkward smile. Ms. Calder, I believe there's been some misunderstanding. She ignored him completely. Instead, she turned toward the attending physician. Doctor, yes. Mem, please give me the current condition of patient Eliza Hartwell. The physician quickly reviewed my chart: multiple fractured ribs, collapsed left lung, internal bleeding, severe blunt force trauma. She remains critical but stable. Vivian nodded once. Then she asked the question no one expected. Has anyone attempted to interfere with her medical treatment? The doctor's eyes shifted toward my parents. He hesitated, only for a second. Then he answered honestly. Less. There has been repeated pressure to prioritize another patient and withdraw aggressive treatment. My mother immediately stepped forward. That's not true. We're only trying to make compassionate decisions for our daughter. Vivian slowly turned toward her. For several long seconds, she simply stared. The silence felt heavier than shouting. Finally she spoke. No, you were trying to silence your daughter. My father's patience disappeared. This is outrageous. You have no authority over my family. Vivian calmly removed a sealed folder from her briefcase. I do tonight. She handed several documents to one of the federal agents standing behind her. The agent immediately approached my father, Victor Hartwell. You and Diane Hartwell are hereby removed as medical proxies for patient Eliza Hartwell. And my mother's face turned pale. What? You no longer possess legal authority over her treatment. You can't do this? The agent handed over another document. A federal emergency protection order has already been approved. My father stared at the papers. His hands trembled. This is impossible. Vivian finally looked directly into his eyes. You should have considered the consequences before attempting to murder a federal witness. Every sound inside the ICU disappeared. Even the heart monitor beside me seemed louder than before. Federal witness. I wasn't the only one shocked. My parents looked completely stunned. What are you talking about? My mother whispered. Vivian answered without emotion. Eliza has been cooperating with a federal financial investigation. Every document your son tried to destroy has already been secured. My father's confidence shattered. Cole, he whispered, what did you do? For the first time, I realized something important. He hadn't known how much evidence I had collected. He thought destroying me would destroy everything. He was wrong. The federal agents quickly secured the room. Hospital security escorted everyone except essential medical staff outside. My parents continued arguing, threatening lawsuits, demanding lawyers, claiming parental rights. No one listened anymore. Money no longer mattered. Power no longer mattered. The truth had finally arrived. Then Vivian walked closer to my bed. Her expression softened for the very first time. She reached into her coat pocket. Carefully, she placed something onto my blanket. It was a silver pendant. A beautiful cedar tree. One branch bent slightly downward. The moment I saw it, my heart nearly stopped. I already owned one exactly like it. Since childhood, I had worn it around my neck almost every day. Whenever I asked my parents where it came from, they always dismissed the question. It was cheap. It doesn't matter. It has no history. And now, the identical pendant lay beside my hand. Vivian gently picked up the necklace resting around my neck. Her fingers trembled. Tears slowly filled her eyes. For the first time since entering the room, the powerful businesswoman looked vulnerable. She whispered so softly only I could hear. I never stopped looking for you. My heartbeat became erratic. What did she mean? My father suddenly shouted. Don't touch my daughter. Vivian slowly stood. Then she turned toward him. The warmth disappeared from her face. Your daughter, she asked quietly. No, she was never your daughter. Everyone froze. Even the nurses stopped moving. My mother shook her head violently. Stop this. You don't know what you're saying. Vivian took one slow step forward. I know exactly what I'm saying. Then she looked directly at me. Her eyes overflowed with emotions that words couldn't describe. Pain, love, regret, hope, 28 years of all of them. Finally, she spoke the words that completely destroyed my world. Eliza, you are my daughter. The room became perfectly silent. No machines, no voices, no footsteps. Only the sound of my own heart pounding inside my chest. I couldn't breathe. My thoughts refused to make sense. This couldn't be real. It had to be a misunderstanding, a mistake, a coincidence. But Vivian continued. 28 years ago, my baby girl disappeared. I searched every day. I never stopped. My mother's breathing became uneven. She looked ready to collapse. My father remained completely speechless. For the first time in my life, I saw genuine fear inside his eyes. Vivian faced the room. Her voice became cold once again. When I was 19 years old, I gave birth to a beautiful little girl. I was poor. I was raising her alone. I trusted people who promised to help. She paused. Instead, they sold my child. No one interrupted. No one dared. She slowly pointed toward Victor and Diane. They found a corrupt adoption broker. They forged abandonment documents. They paid enough money to make a healthy baby disappear. I felt tears sliding down my face. Impossible. Everything I believed about my childhood, everything, was collapsing. Vivian continued. The reason they wanted my daughter wasn't love. It wasn't compassion. It wasn't adoption. She looked toward the wall separating my room from Cole's treatment area. They wanted a compatible donor. The words echoed through the room. Compatible donor. Suddenly, memories I had ignored my entire life began flooding back. Endless hospital visits. Painful injections. Countless blood tests. Medical procedures no child could understand. Whenever I asked questions, my parents always answered the same way. It's routine. It keeps you healthy. No, I finally understood. Those appointments had never been about protecting me. They had been protecting Cole. Vivian's voice trembled. My daughter wasn't raised. She was harvested. The sentence hit me harder than the accident itself. Every sacrifice, every expectation, every moment I believed I simply wasn't good enough. None of it had been because I failed. I had never been loved as a daughter. I had been preserved as insurance, a living donor, a backup plan, a human spare parts bank. I wanted to scream, to cry, to ask why. Instead, only tears rolled silently down my face. Vivian gently took my hand. I know this is impossible to understand tonight. You don't have to believe everything immediately. You don't owe me forgiveness. You don't owe me trust. She squeezed my hand gently. But I promise you one thing. Her eyes became fierce once again. No one will ever hurt you again. At that exact moment, I realized my life hadn't ended on that highway. It had only just begun. And the people who stole 28 years from me were finally about to pay for every single one of them. The hardest part about discovering your entire life was built on lies is realizing you have to rebuild yourself from nothing. I had survived the crash. I had survived my parents' betrayal. I had survived learning that the family I loved had never truly been my family. But now, the real battle was about to begin. Because this time, I wasn't fighting to stay alive. I was fighting for justice. I woke the following morning in a private recovery suite high above downtown Seattle. Soft morning light filtered through the enormous windows overlooking the city. The storm had finally passed. Everything outside looked peaceful. Inside me, nothing was. Every breath reminded me of my broken ribs. Every movement sent sharp pain through my chest. But compared to the pain in my heart, the physical injuries barely mattered. A quiet knock came from the door. Vivian stepped inside carrying 2 cups of coffee. She smiled gently. One is for me. She placed the other on the table beside my bed. And one is simply here because I forgot patients can't drink coffee after major surgery. For the first time, I actually laughed. It hurt, but somehow, it felt wonderful. I guess that's progress, she said with a small smile. It is. She pulled up a chair beside my bed. Neither of us spoke for nearly a minute. There were simply too many years standing between us. Finally, I broke the silence. Did you really spend 28 years looking for me? She slowly nodded. Every single year. Vivian looked toward the window before speaking. Investigators. I searched every adoption agency. I followed every rumor. I visited hospitals. I met women who had also lost children. Some had answers. Most didn't. She smiled sadly. Everyone eventually told me to move on. But I couldn't. Her eyes filled with tears. A mother never stops searching. I felt my own eyes becoming wet. What made you find me now? She reached into her handbag and removed a thick folder. 6 months ago, my legal team began investigating financial fraud involving Hartwell Capital. She opened the folder. I saw your name. At first, she believed it was only a coincidence, but then she discovered something impossible. The medical files connected to Cole's childhood leukemia, bone marrow records, blood compatibility reports, DNA testing. Everything pointed toward one conclusion. The donor had never been adopted legally. The donor was her missing daughter. I couldn't believe it. So I ordered another investigation. She gently placed several photographs beside me. Old newspaper articles, court records, hospital documents, bank transfers, adoption files. Every piece connected another part of the puzzle. By the time she finished, there was no doubt. I wasn't born a Hartwell. I had been stolen. A few hours later, 2 FBI agents entered my room. One introduced himself as Special Agent Daniel Brooks. The other Special Agent Maria Lopez. Both thanked me for cooperating. Daniel placed another folder on my bed. Your evidence changed everything. What do you mean? Maria smiled. Your financial records helped us connect 17 shell corporations. Daniel continued. We've frozen over $50 million. The SEC has already begun emergency proceedings. Cole Hartwell has officially been charged with securities fraud, wire fraud, identity theft, attempted murder, and conspiracy. I closed my eyes. It was finally happening. The truth was no longer hidden. What about Victor and Diane? Daniel looked at Maria. She answered quietly. They've also been arrested. I opened my eyes immediately. For what? Conspiracy, financial fraud, witness intimidation, attempted obstruction of justice, and she paused. New evidence regarding illegal adoption practices. The room became silent. After 28 years, justice had finally knocked on their door. 3 weeks later, I left the hospital. Walking wasn't easy. Breathing still hurt, but every painful step reminded me of something important. I was free, not just from the hospital, from them. News cameras waited outside. Reporters shouted questions. Miss Hartwell, did your brother really try to kill you? As Vivian called her your biological mother, will you testify? I stopped walking, turned toward the cameras, and answered with complete honesty. For years, I believed silence protected the people I loved. I was wrong. Silence only protects those who abuse others. I looked directly into the nearest camera. So yes, I will testify. And I won't stop until every victim receives justice. That interview spread across every major news network in America. Within hours, more victims came forward. Former employees, investors, even former business partners. Everyone had a story. Everyone had been lied to. Everyone wanted justice. Several months later, the trial finally began. The courtroom remained completely full every single day. Journalists filled every seat. Television cameras waited outside. Financial experts testified for hours. Victims described losing retirement savings. Families spoke about losing homes. College funds disappeared. Businesses collapsed. Then, it was my turn. I slowly walked toward the witness stand. Cole refused to look at me. Victor stared at the table. Diane quietly cried. Not because she regretted what she'd done, because she'd been caught. The prosecutor asked only one question. Miss Hartwell, why did you continue fighting after everything they did to you? I looked around the courtroom. Then I answered honestly, because someone had to. They taught me my life had value only when it benefited someone else. I looked directly at Cole. They were wrong. My life has value because it belongs to me. The courtroom remained silent. No one interrupted. Even the judge seemed moved. The verdict took less than 4 hours. Cole Hartwell guilty. Victor Hartwell guilty. Diane Hartwell guilty. The judge called their crimes a shocking abuse of family, trust, and human dignity. Cole received decades in federal prison. Victor and Diane also received lengthy prison sentences for their roles in the fraud, conspiracy, and attempted cover-up. Everything they owned was seized. Their mansion, luxury cars, investment accounts, corporate offices, private clubs, even the artwork decorating their walls. The empire they spent decades building collapsed in a single afternoon. A week later, Vivian invited me to the Calder estate. I expected luxury. Instead, she showed me something much more valuable. A small cedar tree growing in the middle of her garden. I planted it the day you disappeared. She gently touched one of its branches. I promised myself, if I ever found you, would stand here together. And neither of us spoke. We simply stood beneath that tree. Two strangers connected by blood. Separated by 28 years. United by hope. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel like I belonged to someone. I simply belonged. Almost a year has passed since that terrible night. My body has healed. Most of my scars have faded. Some never will. But that's okay. Scars remind us that we survived. I returned to forensic accounting. Only now, I specialize in helping victims recover stolen assets. Every case reminds me why I kept fighting. Because truth matters. Justice matters. And no amount of money can permanently bury either one. Sometimes people ask me whether I hate the Hartwells. The answer surprises them. No, I don't hate them anymore. Hatred gives power to people who no longer deserve space in my heart. Instead, I remember them as a reminder that real family is never defined by blood or a last name. Real family is defined by love, by sacrifice, by choosing to protect each other instead of using each other. That is something Victor, Diane, and Cole never understood. They believed they owned my life. Instead, they handed me something far more valuable, the courage to finally live it. And every morning when I fasten the silver cedar pendant around my neck, I remember one simple truth. They tried to erase me forever. Instead, they gave me the chance to discover who I truly was, and that I will always be my greatest victory. Looking back now, people often ask me one question. If you could go back to that night, would you change anything? For a long time, I didn't know how to answer. I lost the people I thought were my family. I nearly lost my life. I spent months recovering from injuries that still ache when the weather turns cold. And I discovered that almost everything I believed about my childhood was built on lies. But if none of those terrible things had happened, I would never have learned the truth. I would have continued sacrificing my future for people who never intended to protect mine. Sometimes the worst night of your life becomes the first day of your real life. That was exactly what happened to me. When I think back to that hospital room, I don't remember the pain first. I remember Nurse Monica. One person, one decision, one act of courage. She didn't know me. She didn't know my story. She simply chose to believe that something was wrong. If she had ignored those 3 tiny taps against her hand, I probably wouldn't be here today. One ordinary person changed my entire future. Never underestimate the power of doing the right thing. I also think about Vivian. For 28 years, she refused to stop searching for the daughter who had been stolen from her. Many people told her to give up. Many people believed there was no hope. She never listened. Love doesn't always make life easier. Sometimes, love gives people the strength to keep fighting long after everyone else has surrendered. Although we couldn't recover the 28 years we lost, we decided not to waste the years we still had. Healing wasn't instant. Some days we laughed. Some days we cried. Some days we simply sat together in silence. But little by little, we became the family we were always supposed to be. As for me, I returned to my career as a forensic accountant. Only this time, my work meant something even deeper. Every fraud I uncover, every victim I help, every criminal held accountable, reminds me why truth matters. Money can build beautiful houses, power can buy influence, lies can survive for years, but eventually, the truth catches up with everyone, no matter how powerful they believe they are. People also ask whether I ever forgave Victor, Diane, or Cole. Forgiveness is personal. For me, forgiveness didn't mean pretending nothing happened. It didn't mean forgetting. It didn't mean allowing them back into my life. It meant refusing to let my anger control the rest of my future. Justice was served in court. My revenge wasn't watching them lose everything. My revenge was surviving. My revenge was discovering my real family. My revenge was living a happy life they could never destroy. That victory was worth far more than hatred. If my story teaches anything, I hope it's these lessons. First, real family is built on love, honesty, and sacrifice, not blood money or a shared last name. Second, never ignore your instincts when something feels wrong. The truth may be painful, but living a lie is even more painful. Third, one brave decision can save a life. Whether it's speaking up, helping a stranger, or refusing to stay silent, courage matters more than we often realize. Finally, never believe that your past defines your future. No matter how broken yesterday was, tomorrow can still become something beautiful. Thank you so much for spending your time with me and listening to my story. If this story touched your heart, kept you on the edge of your seat, or reminded you that truth always finds its way to the light, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What would you have done if you were in my situation? Would you have exposed your own family? Or would you have walked away? Share your opinion. I read as many comments as I can. And if you enjoy emotional stories filled with shocking twists, family secrets, mystery, justice, and unforgettable endings, don't forget to support the channel. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next story. Thank you again for watching. Take care of yourself, stay kind, stay strong, and remember, no lie can hide forever. Sooner or later, the truth always comes home.